Listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com. Welcome back. You guys remember the Chef and the General, don't you? I like the title. We got a lot of hits the last time we did that. How's everything been, guys?
It's been fantastic. Like I said, we're super grateful.
Well, and just right off the bat, let's get it right out of the way. Chef Lasse Sorensen, you are now again nominated for 2 Emmys this time around.
Yes, so hopefully, it's not a disappointment when you don't win, but, it sounds really good. You're Emmy nominated. I really want to win, so hopefully this is the time. Maybe we'll get some hardware, but if not, I'm blessed that I was nominated, and of course, I'm just part of a team that helps this happening. So, thanks to Jason Pinkston, who's my producer. He makes me look good, and that's a tough job.
Well, this morning during Top of the Hour News, we were just talking about Block Party for Good, and this is a really great thing that's coming down to the Alton Amphitheater. And now, is this on the last Friday of every month?
Fourth Friday of every month, yep, from 2 to 3:30.
And John, fill me in on this, because this is tackling a couple of really big issues that are really affecting our area. And, from healthcare resources all the way down. Fill me in on what this Block Party for Good's all going to be about.
Absolutely. Well, we start with our provocative proposition that in America, we don't have a capacity problem. We have a mobility problem, right? Yep. For a lot of the people. And if you look at the rates of food insecurity, childhood poverty, and just take St. Clair County and Madison County from I-255 to the river, all of them are statistically more significant than anywhere else in the state.
Wow.
So, and Alton actually is the second highest in that entire region. So we have a real issue there. Our notion is, hey, it's challenging to build infrastructure in places and things to people can get to consistently. So we said, what about if we use the power of mobility? We started, as you know, with the food truck movement to effectively replace soup kitchens. But we said, what if we can start to layer in a whole series of services, increasing the access to the things people need? So we started with doing the first couple of free food truck events. We added the St. Louis Food Bank free grocery trailer. No qualifications. The only question we ask are how many people live in your home. That's it.
Wow.
So you don't even need an ID card.
Well, and I love this. And I love this component of it, because you can be on top of the world last week, but if you lose your job and you all of a sudden you have all these bills to pay and now all of a sudden you can't afford them, sometimes you just need a few weeks to get by and maybe just get, go and utilize that program and get, a free bag of groceries. That way it keeps you going to pay those bills and maybe get back on track, and stop it before that ship starts to really sink.
Absolutely. And the dignity of this whole thing comes from the fact that, again, there are no questions asked. We just assume, people are living their own story. Mm-hmm. So the idea for Block Party for Good was create a time every month where for 3 hours we can roll capacity into the middle of downtown. Yep. And that way there's no antibodies to, everyone gets concerned about long-term elements hanging around there. Right. So they come in, we deliver hot food, we provide free groceries, no questions asked, produce and everything. We're now starting with the OSF mobile health van will be out there. Really cool. In the future, we'll be having a mobile haircut place. We have free legal services that'll come in from free mobile legal, what we call Wheels of Justice.
Oh, okay, cool.
So the whole notion is people are mobilizing capacity more to get to the hard-to-reach places. So all we're doing is increasing. So now you have people already coming to one place. Because they know there's good things there. Right. And why not bring all the services to them? And now my question is, too, this seems like there's room for a ton of growth and exponential growth, because once those services, I'm sure, see the need that they're filling and meeting those people and meeting those families, word of mouth starts to spread and it becomes a snow globe effect where organizations, I'm sure, reach out and want to be a part of this and provide even more to this event. Am I onto something there? Does that happen with this? Yes, and that's exactly why. So this doesn't just happen in Alton. It happens simultaneously in Belleville and Swansea.
Wonderful.
And then soon it'll be starting in East St. Louis. So the idea is people are getting that if you have things with wheels, you can roll them in. Individuals who want to be part of it, we're like, all you have to do is provide us a free service to individuals who may be struggling a bit.
See, I love this component of it because, on the show, we talk to organizations and nonprofits all the time that perform these wonderful services. And the biggest question is, we're just trying to find that next networking event or that next way to just get out in the community and show them we're here. And this is a wonderful, opportunity for so many that really provide true service to go out there and take that big step.
That's right. So if you think about, we have farmers markets and things like that.
Yeah.
In this case, just think of a big market, but the output are goods and services that are free.
Yeah.
And it allows the community to come together, and it's really efficient because it rolls in, it does what it does, everybody gets what they need, and it rolls out. But what people start to get trained to is, I know at least once a month there'll be something I can count on. And they can, and we don't meter if they have enough arms to carry 5 bags of groceries, they can carry 5 bags of groceries. Mm-hmm. So it really creates a catalyzing point for the community.
Well,
and just since we were talking about Emmy nominations, this work, Food is Love and Currency and Caring is doing, is much more important than winning 100%. Emmy nominations, right? Mm-hmm. Because we seem to forget how lucky we are. We can live our lives and doing what we're doing, and I'm grateful to be part of this because you see little kids that haven't eaten for days and they get something to eat, or people getting help, and they're so grateful.
Yeah,
and it's worth everything, and we want to use the platform Food is Love to focus on this area called food insecurity. It's very important for both John and I. So
absolutely,
it's so important. And when I had my delivery business, even things like that, where you go and you go and say, quote unquote, go across the railroad tracks and open your eyes and realize in this community there's folks that don't have front doors, and that's not a false statement. That's a literal fact that they have no front door and they have a screen in front of it. And it's there's folks like that are just struggling. And when the schools were closed, Alton School District was trying to bust meals out to these kids to make sure they could still eat. Yeah. And those things, add on that stress component, and what that does to your overall health is just out of this world what it does to deter a family. And just to have this opportunity where once a month, hey, things are bad right now, but I can get not just groceries where it's just a can of macaroni, a box of macaroni, but I'm getting good groceries. I can get produce for my kids and make sure they have at least some type of good nutrition. That's a big stress reliever for a lot of people right now.
Absolutely. I think when we talk about food insecurity, really just from what it really means, I think sometimes there's confusion,
That's a good
right?
point, yeah.
So really all food insecurity means is that people don't have consistent access to good or nutritious food. And that's the key word, consistent.
Yeah.
So it's very episodic, and that's what causes stress. And this is where we have real breakdowns in the system, right? Mm-hmm. So we don't do the Block Party for Good is one thing, but remember, we also have through the Currency of Caring program places that people can go at any time with a token and get access to a meal. So this month we'll pass 17,000 free hot meals that have been distributed in 50 different locations.
Wow.
That's the power of mobility that we see.
Let's talk about that more, because I've seen in different neighborhoods in Alton on Facebook, you guys up in these neighborhoods. Can we talk a little bit more about what those food trucks are? And maybe if someone was a little bit confused and didn't know what that service was, we can provide that information there to them, because this is really cool.
Absolutely. So, when we talk about the power of mobility, and one of the biggest casualties of COVID that people didn't see was the loss of 92% of the soup kitchen capacity in America.
Oh.
So we saw how food trucks go, we're not going to rebuild soup kitchens. Hot meals almost vanished overnight. There's one here in Alton, there's one in East St. Louis. Most of them have gone away because it's really hard to get volunteers, and then the codes for the kitchens have changed a lot with the counties. So we said, well, we stop. We don't need to do that. We have this growing business that accelerated during COVID called food trucks. So we said, what if we could just use those, create like hot meal soup kitchen on demand kind of capacity? So we created a system that now can incentivize food truck operators to go where they're needed in a food desert, which is defined as a place where you have food insecurity or inconsistent access to food is a food desert. Alton is a food desert by definition by the state and by the USDA. So all you do is you think about Uber, but for a soup kitchen. That's the way that, wow. And so the operators get paid. So the money that comes in at $8 a token effectively provides a hot meal, a side, and a drink. That full $8 goes to whoever provides the meal. So now we just match supply and demand, and that's how we've grown to 50 locations. So we again 50 different locations.
And one of the things we were talking about, we we're trying to raise money for a Food is Love truck that we can dispatch and bless people with at all times. And what we're going to do different on that truck is we will have, nutritional value. We want to make sure that that's, with my involvement, we want to have things on a food truck that is, nutritional and maybe, have a little educational component in the truck too. So if anybody is interested in helping us out with that, they can contact either the General and I. And,
I love it.
I think that that would make a big difference for us if we could kind of, control the food better.
Mm-hmm. And I wanted to touch on that too, because you were just hitting on those nutritional points, and that's a big thing. But also, Chef, for a fact, when you see someone's eyes when they taste a good meal for the first time in a while, it does something to them. I mean, it really does.
But the big problem we're facing, we're trying to help people, and we want to stuff, a lot of fresh produce, organic produce, but a lot of people that have faced food insecurity for a long time, they don't understand the concept.
They don't, yeah.
Yeah, so they're just interested in, candy bars and ramen noodles and stuff. So we really have to, grow an effort to teach kids what nutrition is, because it's such an evil cycle for them, right? They eat terrible food, and then they get sick later on in life because of those choices. So we really have to start with the kids.
You just hit, I don't know if you got a crystal ball in front of you, Chef, but that's exactly what I was going to, because, right now, it seems like the only thing that is affordable for families sometimes are those, small boxes of ramen noodles and things like that. So,
and it was an eye-opener to me, I spoke with Meredith from the St. Louis Food Bank, and I said, why don't you do this, this, and this? And she said, we do, but you got to remember, some of these families, they've lived off of what Casey's have.
Yeah.
And it's not only the parents, it's the grandparents too. So it's really about educating a generation about how to eat healthy and the power of the kitchen table. The kitchen table is what we've lost.
Yeah.
Where me as a kid, my parents would let me go out and do whatever I want to do, but I better be home for dinner.
Yep.
And, it was always a meal that either my grandmother cooked or, my mother cooked or my father cooked. And, you don't see that very often anymore. And that's the problem, is the power of the kitchen table.
You're right. That was something that was kind of tough for me growing up, because I was I'm in this weird generational period where some folks kind of started adapting to newer values or newer ways to doing things, and some folks kind of hung back and did that same thing. So my family, every day we were cooking and getting together, and when those lights came on, I was still the kid that didn't have a cell phone, so I was walking inside when the street lights came on. And then Sundays at Grandma's house, where you might have argued with your cousin earlier in the week, but Sunday you're getting together and you're having that meal, and you're talking about things that you're working on or doing, and you're coming together and having that community. And that's what food does, and that's what we need to keep promoting. It's great.
That's the whole idea behind Food is Love, right?
Yeah.
It's the power of food as a connector across all cultures, all people groups, because it's a great normalizer. If you think about it, in those moments that you share a meal, a lot of things fall away because the focus is the people that you're with, and the food just enhances the experience. The challenge is, just like we have generational poverty in America, we have generational, if you would think about it, malnutrition in America. When you're in cycles of living in the projects, they don't have doors. We have kids right now in this zip code sleeping on the floor. They don't have beds.
100%.
So we take all these things, as Lasse was saying, about for granted. So coming back to, we use food because it's the easiest one everyone can agree to. Housing's a little harder.
Right.
Food's an easy way to go. Yes, people deserve access to good food, but breaking the cycle of this generational malnutrition is consistently getting kids not just the access to the produce and the new things, but then we got to make it fun and engaging for them to learn what to do with that. And that's one of the things, having Chef Lasse, kind of lead that charge, not just with us, but also with the St. Louis Food Bank.
Right. Well, and honestly, that brings us to a good pause point. You guys have a moment to stick around?
Sure. Yeah.
We'll take a quick break. More more on this is coming up right around the corner, but while I have you, make sure, we have a really great library here too. Hainer Library is a great supporter of ours, and my time to tell you to get your Hainer Library card. So with the card, you get ad-free for free streaming with Biblio Plus. You get access to databases in the Library of Things, so if you can't afford a calculator and you got that final coming up, you can go right in there, pick up that calculator, and return it with your library card. There's so many outdoor activities, movie projectors, so if you want to have that family movie night or just that family event, but it's, maybe you don't have the equipment or you don't know where to get it, you can go in there too. Also, a seed library for plants, vegetables that are native to this area. There's so much more with your Hainer Library card. Go to HainerLibrary.org, click on the How Do I tab, click on Get a Library Card. Put your address in, you're taken care of. You can hang out with Mary Cordes and I on the first and last Monday of each and every month as we go beyond the shelves of our institution. Looking for a fun, free day out with the family? Head to the Mississippi Earth Tones Festival at the Alton Amphitheater Saturday, September 21st. From noon to 10, enjoy 100 booths with environmental education, interactive art experiences, and performances, along with great local food and beverages. Emerge in the art, food, vendors, and music, and be heard by celebrating our incredible river. It's free, it's fun, and it's happening Saturday, September 21st at the Alton Amphitheater.
Since 1993, Sparks Junk Removal is always adapting to the needs of our clients. That is why we now offer weekly trash pickup for selected areas. Plus, we offer driveway-safe rubber-tired dumpster rental. Give us a call today at 618-781-1407 or visit us at sparksjunkremoval.net.
I just got a new air conditioner. Top of the line.
I bet mine's better. It's so efficient and quiet, I hardly know it's running.
I've got you both trumped. I've got a Linux.
So do I.
Barrett Heating and Cooling carries Linux products to meet any budget. Don't gamble with your energy dollars. Call Barrett Heating and Cooling and start saving today.
Lennox. Innovation never felt so good.
Ready for fantastic deals? Head to Village Dispensary, where every day is a celebration. Start your week with 25% off Dog Walker pre-rolls on Monday. Tuesday, enjoy 25% off Divs gummies. On Wednesday, enjoy 30% off Nevada pens. On Thursday, it's 30% off CQ sodas, margaritas, and more. Friday, enjoy 3.5 grams of Megatron by NGW and Cronuts number 4 by Paul Bunyan for $25. Visit VillageDispo.com and shop now.
Life's better when you're under the American Family Insurance roof, because they know your house is home base for their dreams. Whether it's a kid like me aiming for the big leagues, ready, future rocket scientist, or a budding prima ballerina. When you feel totally protected, your family's free to pursue their dreams. Which is good.
Let's go.
American Family Insurance.
Get paid to go solar. We're not solar bros. At Grid, we're solar pros. We explain the process behind solar power so you can make an informed decision. We'll work with you to make owning your power as simple as possible and affordable with zero down financing and payment options. Our only goal is to save you money. Call Grid when you're ready to be independent of the power company.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
Hey, mama, don't you treat me wrong. Come and love your daddy all night long. All right now. Hey, hey. All right. You see the girl with the diamond ring?
We're coming back now. It's 10:50, a little bit of change on this 26th day of September in the heart of the 618. You just handed me a currency of caring token, and now let's talk about this. This is really cool. So, number one, you were just hitting me with some pretty big statistics just overall, but let's just dive into what this means first, and then we can kind of break everything else down, because
Sure.
I was always wondering about this currency of caring system, and this is very fascinating how you've developed this. This is wonderful.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I know and that's what, as Lasser talks about, our goal is what's a simple solution where realistically you don't even have to build anything, right?
Right.
So what we looked at is, okay, every city in America today, regardless of size, has at least 3 things in common. Many things, but certainly 3. Broken people who need a little extra help, neighbors in need, food trucks, and restaurants. the restaurants and food trucks all have latent capacity, if you think about it, right? No one's 100% busy all the time.
Right.
So our idea was, what if we could incentivize restaurant operators and food truck operators to take some of that excess capacity, and then we would pay them to go be part of a solution to filling in food insecurity. So which means you can use the trucks to get to hard to reach neighborhoods like we do with our Love Thy Neighbor program, right? And this is where we're on the 142nd truck in almost 17,000 meals. Or they could go to a restaurant that participates, of which we have 24 in the area.
Really cool.
And they can now turn a token in for a hot meal with no questions asked.
Now, how is there a way we can find that list so we can publish that too in our article?
CurrencyofCaring.com has it all.
Absolutely.
And we would love for more restaurants in Alton to participate. Really, we give them a lantern. It doesn't cost them anything, but people can buy one of these tokens for $8. And I'm proud to say we have one restaurant that has signed up for it, which is Tab's Cafe on State Street.
They're wonderful. They have a great breakfast, too.
Yes. So Tabitha there, if you want to support Food is Love and Currency of Caring, you can go there and buy as many of these tokens. And as soon as we have 100 of those, we basically deploy a food truck.
For free, and do 100 to 125 meals.
Yeah.
Because you know that need, is it because you see that need with that 100 getting delivered?
Well, we have, the need is bigger than we have capacity.
Right.
So we have to, get the money first, and then we can deploy it.
Oh, this is exciting.
John gets very excited about this, so he always spends more money than what we have because it's important. But that just shows you what a great guy he is. So we're always behind on the fundraising. So please, if you're listening, go to Tab's Cafe, have a meal there. I recommend the lamb chops, by the way.
Oh, they're good.
The best I've ever had. And you can buy a token there after you've had a meal there. So.
Or you can buy them, you can donate right on CurrencyCaring.com.
Well, and see, what I think's great, too, is because we all see those individuals that, maybe come up to us, maybe don't. But, it's one of those things is, what do we have to offer? And this is a great thing just to, number one, educate and inform and say, hey, there's an opportunity here for you to be a part of it and get a nutritious meal. And also to, pass along that.
And we've been to other cities now, and it's not as bad in Illinois as, the General and I just came back from Los Angeles. On every street corner there, people are begging, right?
Yeah.
So when you think about this idea of, instead of handing them $5 where they probably spend it on alcohol or drugs, this is a way that we can break that cycle too, because they're in a bad spot in their life.
Right.
And so this Currency of Caring token will give them a meal. We want to make sure that they get a meal instead of, just giving them cash. So the long-term goal is to circulate enough of them so you have 10 or 15 of them in your car, and you see somebody asking for a handout, you hand them one of those, and then they know where to go.
Well, and what I think's amazing about that token too is, for so many in that spot, and just from my conversations with Centerstone and all these great, organizations that kind of combat mental illness and just homelessness too, is that meal, those little things that we would consider little, because we have our air conditioning and heat on in our home, that could be a whole mindset change for that individual. And Chef, you were talking earlier, if it's okay to bring up, when you were running that restaurant and you were serving, all these folks, but then afterwards, when you kind of saw the bigger picture there and that broader map, take me through that if it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, so my career has basically been focused around, the best meals, the best ingredients, and that's not something, that most people can afford. So, for all these years, I was, not seeing, all the problems that was right next door to me because, that was not what I were catering to. Mm-hmm. And so now, after meeting John and coming up here to Alton, so my job is now changed, and I'm seeing, what it's going to take to change this, and I'm so grateful because the way you feel after you feed 130 kids that are so grateful, it is just mind-boggling, and you realize that this is a universal problem.
Yeah.
I mean, this is something that we and I know, I'm an optimist and I want to change the world, but you can't just sit down and hope somebody else is doing it, because there is nobody else doing it.
No.
So we need to be a big part of it, especially in this region. And I think that with Food is Love as the platform, we can help direct people to understanding what I didn't understand prior to getting into this, that, there's an incredible need out there that we need to be part of this solution.
Well, and on top of that too, and just spot on is on top of that is that the faction too that really is on that teetering point where any week they could go under, because those folks are living, and so many, I can't remember the percentage, but it's more than the majority is living paycheck to paycheck in this region. And all of a sudden, if money dries up, you lose the job, you get sick, your kids get sick, you got to take the day off for a couple of days and lose that money. That could be what makes or breaks somebody. And to have these resources like the Block Party for Good, where again you can go, hey, at least this week or this couple of days we're taken care of, and I can focus on finding that bill of money somewhere else. I don't have to take it out of the grocery account, or I don't have to come up with money for groceries this week, or I can get my health care assessed right then and there, or legal services. I mean, those are opportunities that folks have to travel sometimes miles for.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's exactly right. And when you layer in, so that's once a month, and that creates big capacity movement for people. What the currency carrying does, it creates minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day access. So what we want to do is fill in ways to bring a lot of different capabilities. With our focus on food, we can create a way to unite everybody who's already in the food business, preparing hot food. And hot food, as you said, is different than going to a pantry and getting some cold items in a can.
Yeah.
This is a point where someone's prepared something for you. It's usually more nutritious, and it does make you feel different. So does it solve everything? No. But in that moment, it lets you know that other people care enough about you and what you're going through to have facilitated access to that meal on your behalf. Think about that. So even psychologically, for people who struggle in that moment, this is why we've done, again, every neighborhood, 50 different neighborhoods, most of them very challenging. People always ask, is it scary? Are there bad things that happen? Not one single event in any of these places that we've ever gone. All it is, as the chef said, is nothing but joy, nothing but gratitude.
Yeah.
So even from those who have the least in these moments, it allows them to know they're seen, they're valued, and it's just beautiful to see. And that's originally the idea of we're just bringing the power of the table to them.
But there is that social aspect that they don't have, right? Because homeless people, they don't have an interaction.
Right.
So that's what's wonderful to see when we do these events. It becomes the kitchen table. You have people from all walks of life showing up, and they interact while they eat. It's so great to see they take their plates and they sit down, and then they have conversations.
Yeah.
And if that's not Food is Love, I don't know.
Yeah. Even though we didn't know we were doing it at the same time, this was created. We were featured on season 3, episode 9. We became fast friends. Didn't talk for almost 2 years. Thanks to John Simmons, we were reconnected. Then we joined forces formally X amount of months ago. But we always came from the perspective. He'd already been using the words food is love.
Yeah.
I already felt food is love. And now we're like, well, it's obvious. It's food is love.
Yeah.
Well, and honestly, too, if folks have the opportunity, if you aren't going to need the services, I just take a drive by and see all the folks that are getting help, too, because I think so many individuals in this community don't understand the need for it, because like you and I've said, Lasse, we're in our kind of tunnel vision because we got our own lives, and that's fine. But there's tons and tons of people that need this service, and to see this in action would really, I think, just bring out so much and help people learn so much about what you all are doing, because it truly is wonderful.
Well, I appreciate it. And we encourage people, go down there, park your car.
Yeah.
And just come out and talk to somebody or hug somebody.
Yeah.
So whether you have food coming out a window or they're getting services, the other thing, as he was saying, is imagine the power when we live in a society that tends to want to look away from things that are uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Okay, or people who are struggling. When you're there and they've made, that's what we call a Block Party for Good. All those who need a little are the center of the story in those 3 hours.
Yep.
And so when people come out just to talk to them, that's unbelievable, and it starts to change the way they think about themselves. So it's not just putting something in their belly or perhaps bringing them a service. It's letting another human look them in the eye and go, I am just glad to meet you. That is
You're right.
Massively important from a sense of belonging and connection.
100%. And guys, thank you so much for stopping by. I always tell people 15 minutes, but a half hour later, here we are. But we're running out of time today. For more information, what is that website again for Currency of Caring?
www.currencyofcaring.com.
And Chef Lasse, thank you so much for your time. Let's bring home those Emmys. If not, then I'll be on the show the next day talking about it. But seriously, keep up the great work. You're both great additions to this community, and we're looking forward to keep sharing the mission and getting the word out. You guys have an opportunity this Friday, the 27th. That's tomorrow, to be a part of this and really just learn more. Park your car, stop out there from 2 to 3:30. AltonWorks, Food is Love, and Currency of Caring are hosting their monthly block party for good. Free groceries, a free food truck, free checkups through OSF Health and Wellness Mobile, and just a bunch of great community atmosphere. We'll see you tomorrow for Ameren, Illinois, Village Dispensary, and so much more. So join me then, won't you? Until then, just try your best to stay out of jail.
To the life he once knew. Oh, yes, he did. He said it.